The year 1948 was a turning point for Britain. Still reeling from the devastation of World War II, the nation faced a difficult process of economic recovery, social reform, and global repositioning. King George VI was on the throne, and the empire was rapidly transforming into the modern Commonwealth of Nations. A particularly relevant event occurred in August 1947. India gained independence, and King George VI ceased being Emperor of India. Despite this, the phrase Aind Imp, Emperor of India, remained on British coins in 1948, due to the delay in changing die inscriptions, a curious reminder of Britain's imperial legacy. In this complex post-war environment, the British currency system remained pre-decimal, consisting of £1, so 20 shillings, 1 shilling, so 12 pence, 1 penny, so 4 farthings. Coins like the 1 shilling were vital for daily transactions and represented stability in a changing world. After the war, Britain made a major change in coinage materials. From 1947 onward, coins that previously contained silver were minted instead in cupro nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. A cost-saving measure in line with the country's need to conserve precious metals. Feature detail denomination 1 shilling monarch King George VI metal composition cupro nickel weight 5.65 grams diameter 23.5 medium edge milled mint royal mint. London date of issue 1948. In 1948, 2 reverse designs were issued to represent both England and Scotland. This was part of a symbolic practice introduced in the reign of George VI, recognizing the constituent nations of the UK. Design: crowned lion standing atop the St. Edward's crown. Symbolism: strength of England under the monarchy. Designer: George Kruger. Grey. Fid def and imp, 1 shilling. 1948. Design: lion rampant within a crowned shield, enclosed in a double tressure flory counter flory. Symbolism: represents Scotland's royal heritage. Designer: George Kruger. Grey inscription: Fid def and imp, 1 shilling. 1948. Portrait: King George VI facing left. Designer: Thomas Humphrey Paget. Inscription: Gorgiv 6 DGBR Omn Rex. George VI by the grace of God, King of all the Britons. The 1948 1 shilling coin circulated widely throughout England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland British overseas territories where UK currency was legal tender, including Malta, Gibraltar, parts of Africa, and the Caribbean. The shilling was a versatile and frequently used coin, typically accepted in all sectors of society, from local grocers and post offices to railways and public houses. Variant estimated mintage English, reverse. Ta 179,000. Coins, Scottish reverse. 1,000 coins. Observation: the Scottish reverse had a significantly lower mintage, making it rarer and more collectible, especially in high-grade or uncirculated condition. Fine. F. Heavyware, major details visible but flat. Value: 1-2 GBP moderate wear. Most features visible and clear. Value: 2-4 GBP light wear. High points slightly rubbed, sharp design overall. Value: 4-8 GBP about uncirculated. AU: nearly mint, very slight wear on highest points. Value: 8-12 GBP mint state. MS60, MS65. No wear, full detail, possibly with original mint luster. Value: 15-40 plus GBP depending on strike quality and preservation. The 1948 1 shilling coin stands at a crossroads of British coinage. History: material shift. No longer struck in silver, but with high durability for circulation. Imperial remnant bears the title Aind Imp, an echo of an empire that had just lost India. Dual identity: English and Scottish reverses reflect the UK's internal national identities. King George VI. Legacy: one of the few monarchs to oversee both wartime and post-war coinage changes. These features make the coin attractive to numismatists, historians, post-war memorabilia collectors. The 1948 1 shilling coin is far more than a simple unit of old currency. It is a symbol of Britain's transformation. From empire to commonwealth, from war to recovery, from silver to base metal. Despite its humble face value, it carries the narrative of resilience, tradition, and reform. Whether found in an heirloom, drawer, or a collector's case, this coin is a piece of living history that reflects the complexities and character of post-war Britain. Would you like a PDF version of this script, or an image-based poster for display purposes? I can also provide side-by-side comparison charts for the English and Scottish variants if you're building a collection. The last step, 1949. The United Kingdom was firmly entrenched in the post-war era. The global influence of the British Empire had begun to wane, and Britain was adapting to its new identity as a leader in the Commonwealth of Nations, not an imperial superpower. World War II had ended 4 years prior. Britain was undergoing economic austerity, with rationing still in force. King George VI remained on the throne, providing a sense of stability. The country had just lost India, and the title Emperor of India had officially ceased in 1948, although the IND-IMP inscription still appeared on coins minted in that period due to existing die usage. In 1949, Britain still used the pre-decimal currency system. Pound, mon, 20 shillings. Shilling, 12 pence. The shilling was an essential coin used extensively in everyday transactions, from public transportation to groceries and bills. Attribute details, denomination, 1 shilling year of issue 1949 Monarch King George VI metal composition cupro-nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, diameter 23.5 mm, weight 5.65 grams, edge milled mint, Royal Mint, London. Prior to 1947, British shillings were made from 50% silver. However, due to the severe economic constraints after the war, Britain eliminated silver from its coins in favor of cupro-nickel starting in 1947. The 1949 shilling is thus a base metal coin, durable and affordable to mint. Just like in 1948, the 1949 1 shilling coin was issued in 2 design variants. Design: a crowned lion standing proudly atop the St. Edward's crown. Symbolism: strength, sovereignty, and the English monarchy. Designer: George Kruger. Grey reverse. Inscription: Fid def ind imp, 1 shilling, 1949. Design: a lion rampant inside a crowned shield, surrounded by a double tressure flory counterflory, a classic Scottish design. Symbolism: the national identity of Scotland under the Union. Designer: George Kruger Grey, fid def ind imp. 1 shilling, 1949. These alternating reverse types reflected a royal effort to represent the individual nations of the United Kingdom in coinage. Portrait: left-facing bust of King George. Designer: Thomas Humphrey Paget. George VI, DGBR, Almen Rex. Latin for George VI, by the grace of God, King of all the Britons. Though minted in London at the Royal Mint, the 1949 1 shilling coin saw use across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Various British overseas territories and dominions, including Gibraltar, Malta, Sierra Leone, British Caribbean territories, parts of Africa, such as Kenya and Ghana, where UK coins were accepted. The coin remained legal tender throughout the UK and its territories until decimalisation in 1971, when the shilling was replaced by the 5 new pence coin, which had the same size and weight. Variant estimated mintage English. Reverse, 11,000 40,000 coins. Scottish reverse, 6,000 coins. Key fact: the Scottish reverse was produced in smaller quantities, making it more scarce and slightly more desirable among collectors, especially in mint state, uncirculated condition. The coin's value varies significantly based on its grade, condition, and variant. Grade description: F, fine, heavy wear, basic features visible, VF, very fine. Moderate wear, clear major details, EF, extremely fine. Light wear, sharp details, AU, about uncirculated. Trace of handling, full details, MS, mint state, uncirculated, no wear. Mint luster present. Grade English reverse, Scottish reverse fine, F1, 2 bar 150, 250 very fine, VF, 2, 4 var 3, 5 extremely fine, EF 4, 6 var 6, 8 about uncirculated, AU 6, $10.8, 12 mint state, MS 60, MS 65, 12, $25.15, 40 plus is Scottish. Reverse in uncirculated condition tends to attract premium bids at auction due to its lower mintage and distinctive design. This coin is a powerful symbol of Britain's post-war resilience, imperial transition, and economic adaptation. It reflects the end of silver coinage, the tail end of imperial references, IND-IMP, a celebration of national identity through dual designs, the enduring influence of King George VI, whose image lends historical significance. The 1949 1 shilling is not merely a piece of currency. It is a fragment of 20th century British history, a witness to the decline of empire, the rise of modern Britain, the artistry of royal symbolism, the economic recovery following one of the most devastating wars in history. Whether collected for its numismatic appeal, historical value, or symbolic importance, this coin continues to attract interest 75+ years after it was minted. I can also provide side-by-side comparison images of the English and Scottish reverses, a printable collector's checklist, a PDF guide to pre-decimal shillings from 1902-1970. The 1956 1 shilling carried more than monetary value. They were tokens of heritage, modernity, and national identity. The year 1956 sits at the heart of post-war Britain. Food rationing had ended just 2 years earlier, and Britain was slowly redefining its global role in the wake of World War II and the loss of empire. Queen Elizabeth II, crowned in 1953, was still in the early years of her reign. The British people were adapting to peace, rising consumerism, and the quiet optimism of the 1950s. Currency reflected these changes. The 1 shilling coin, minted under her name, was part of the traditional pre-decimal currency system. In this system, 1 shilling, 12 pence, 20 shillings, £1 sterling. This small silver-colored coin was an everyday item used by Britons to buy tea, stamps, newspapers, and more, yet its symbolism ran deep. Attribute details: Monarch Queen Elizabeth II, year 1956, composition cupro-nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, weight 5.65 grams, diameter 23.5 mm, edge milled, reeded. Currency system pre-decimal, 1 shilling, Shores 12 pence. Legal tender until 1990, replaced by 5p coin post-1971. Note: silver was last used in British shillings in 1946. From 1947 onward, all shillings, including those from 1956, were made in copper-nickel, a cost-saving measure due to rising silver prices and post-war austerity. All 1956 1 shilling coins were minted at the Royal Mint in London, which at the time was still located at Tower Hill, near the Tower of London, a site steeped in numismatic history. But the coin designs themselves represented more than location. They symbolized national unity. Beginning in 1937, 2 distinct designs were used to represent the 2 founding nations of the United Kingdom, England and Scotland. Features a crowned lion statent guardant, standing on all fours, atop the Tudor crown, surrounded by the inscription, Fid Def 1 shilling. Features a lion rampant within a double tressure flory counter flory, topped with a Scottish crown. Same, surrounding inscription, Fid Def 1 shilling. Both types circulated freely throughout the UK. Their parallel existence is a fascinating nod to British federal identity, recognizing the distinct cultural symbols of Scotland and England under one sovereign crown. All 1956 1 shilling coins carry the first portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by sculptor Mary Gillick. Young, uncrowned image of the Queen, facing right, wreath of laurels in her hair, symbolizing peace and classical dignity. Surrounding inscription, Elizabeth II, de Gracia Regina Fd, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, defender of the faith. This portrait was deliberately optimistic and non-regal in tone, chosen to reflect the Queen's youth and the freshness of a post-war Britain. It remained in use from 1953 to 1967. The 1956 1 shilling was a widely used coin, a staple of the British economy and a familiar item in purses and pockets across the Commonwealth. Made for everyday use, not commemorative. Millions of coins minted, though exact mintage numbers for 1956 are not split between the English and Scottish versions. Accepted not only in England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, but also in colonial and overseas territories that used British coinage. Bus fares, groceries, tea, cinema tickets, often placed in savings jars or Christmas pudding traditions, known colloquially as a bob, e.g., a 2-bob bit, 2 shillings. Despite decimalization in 1971, the coin was legal tender until 1990, as a 5p equivalent, making it one of the longest surviving pre-decimal coins in practical use. Today, 1956, 1 shillings are still accessible to collectors, especially in circulated condition. However, uncirculated specimens are increasingly valued, particularly those with sharp detail and original mint luster. Common wear points: queens, hairline, lion's mane, crown detail. May show surface scratches, loss of luster, edge flattening. Value, as of 2025, 1/250, depending on grade and type. No signs of wear on high points, brilliant or satin finish, silver white or lightly toned surface, sharp rim and lettering. High eye appeal, possible dye polish lines, normal for copper nickel strikes. Grade English reverse, Scottish reverse fine, F, 1/1. Very fine, VF, 2/250, extremely fine, EF, 405. About uncirculated, AU, 6, 8, 7, 10. Uncirculated, MS 63, 65, 10, 20. Worn 15, 25. Gem. Uncirculated, MS 66 plus, 30, 50 plus, 40, 60 plus. Note: Scottish reverses are slightly scarcer in high grades and often carry a premium. A young queen's steady hand in the early years of a 70-year reign, national identity expressed through distinct heraldry. A currency system that shaped generations before decimalization. The transition from empire to modern nationhood. It is a coin that was likely held by millions, passed between shopkeepers, tucked into Christmas envelopes, dropped into piggy banks, and now collected for its charm and history. In every shilling of 1956, there lies a portrait of Britain. Not in grandeur, but in the ordinary moments that shaped the modern kingdom. Today, the 1956 shilling may be tucked into a velvet case or sold at a modest auction. Yet once, it bought lunch, paid a bus fare, or chimed in the till of a butcher's shop. Its true value lies not in metal, but in memory. The 1 shilling coin of 1958 stands out as a bridge between imperial tradition and modern currency. The year was 1958, and Queen Elizabeth II was only 6 years into her reign. Crowned in 1952 at the age of 25, she had inherited a kingdom still recovering from war, reshaping its global identity, and transitioning into a modern society. The coinage of the time reflected this transformation. Though the British Empire was beginning to dissolve, the coins still bore the grandeur of monarchy and the continuity of centuries of minting tradition. A pre-decimal coin, equal to 1/20th of a pound, 12 old pence. Composed of copper-nickel, a copper-nickel alloy, replacing silver coinage that had been withdrawn after 1946. Issued in 2 types, one for England and one for Scotland, symbolizing the union of nations under one crown. The 1958 Elizabeth II shilling came in 2 distinct reverse designs, a unique feature designed to represent both England and Scotland in British coinage. A right-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Mary Gillick, without a crown. The Latin inscription, Elizabeth II's Dei Gratia Regina FD, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This youthful portrait is known as the first portrait, and was used from 1953 to 1967. It projected freshness, youth, and continuity. Reverse, back, 2 versions. Crowned lion standing on the crown of St. Edward, encircled by the words, Fid Def 1 shilling. This version emphasized England as the heart of the United Kingdom. A lion rampant in a double tressure, crowned with a Scottish crown, surrounded by Fid Def 1 shilling. Fid Def is short for Fide Defensor, or Defender of the Faith, a title held by British monarchs since Henry VIII. These dual designs were an effort to recognize the distinct national identities within the UK, a politically sensitive move in a post-war era. Chapter 3. Minting and Geography. The 1958 shillings were minted at the Royal Mint, then located in Tower Hill, London, before it relocated to Llantrisant, Wales in the 1970s. Key geographic notes. No mint marks were used, All coins were minted domestically. They were produced for use in England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and British overseas territories where British coinage circulated. The 1958 shilling entered circulation during a transitional period in British monetary history. Britain was still under the pre-decimal system, which would remain in place until Decimal Day on 15th of February 1971. 1 shilling the freren 12 pence, and 20 shillings, seren 1 pound. These coins circulated widely in daily commerce, used for everything from groceries to bus fares. Made of cupronickel, they were more durable than older silver coins. Coins would dull and tone with circulation, especially around the raised portrait and lion features. Over time, surface wear, contact marks, and dirt accumulation would lead to loss of detail, especially on the Queen's hair, lettering, and crown motifs. These coins remained legal tender until 1990, long after decimalization, due to their replacement as the equivalent of the new 5-pence coin introduced in 1968. 1958 shillings in uncirculated or mint state, MS, are widely collected. They are generally available due to large mintages and relatively recent age. Sharp edges and rims, full details in the Queen's hair, lion's fur, and lettering. No signs of wear or circulation. Original mint luster, often silver white or with faint toning. MS60, MS63, minor contact marks, bright surfaces. MS64, MS66, highly lustrous with only minimal flaws. MS67 Plus, extremely rare with near-perfect strike. And surfaces. Values, as of 2025. Circulated condition. 1-3 uncirculated, MS63 65. 5-20. Proof-like or high-grade examples. 25-50 plus, especially for complete date, mint sets, or toned coins. Though it is a modest denomination, the 1958 Elizabeth II 1 shilling coin remains popular with decimalization-era collectors, royal memorabilia, enthusiasts, British history, and Commonwealth coin collectors. Its dual design, celebrating England and Scotland, combined with its historical context under a young Queen Elizabeth II, makes it a meaningful coin for those reflecting on the monarch's early years and post-war British identity. It is a coin that represents not wealth, but heritage. Not extravagance, but endurance. In every shilling lies the memory of a mother buying bread, a boy saving for a toy, a nation rebuilding its strength under a youthful queen. As we look back at this humble coin from 1958, we see more than metal. We see monarchy, memory, and modernity. It is a testament to continuity through change, an enduring emblem of Queen Elizabeth II's long and storied reign. From pockets to museums, the 1958 shilling remains a tiny but powerful token of Britain's post-war era, a coin of resilience and quiet dignity. The 1959 1 shilling stands out, not for its rarity, but for what it represented: unity, modernity, and the enduring symbol of a changing British Empire. The year 1959 was part of a transformative era for the United Kingdom. The scars of the Second World War were slowly healing, and the nation was finding a new voice amid decolonization, the Cold War, and cultural change. Queen Elizabeth II, crowned in 1953, was now a familiar and reassuring figure. Her portrait had appeared on stamps, banknotes, and of course, on coinage. The 1959 1 shilling coin was minted under this post-war monarchy, as part of Britain's traditional pre-decimal currency system. In that system, 1 shilling were 12 pence, 20 shillings were 1 pound. Though the decimal switch wouldn't happen until 1971, the late 1950s marked a mature phase of pre-decimal currency, including dual designs that reflected the national identities of the UK. The 1959 Elizabeth II 1 shilling was a circulating cupronickel coin, minted for use across the UK and certain overseas territories. It replaced older silver coinage, which had been phased out due to economic necessity. Technical details: composition, cupronickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Weight, 5.65 grams. Diameter, 23.5 millimeters. Edge, milled, reeded. Mint, the Royal Mint, Tower Hill, London. Metal value, not intrinsically precious. Issued as token currency. The 1959 shilling came in two reverse types to symbolize the two founding nations of the United Kingdom, England and Scotland. This symbolic dual-issue approach had been adopted in 1937 and continued through Elizabeth II's early reign portrait, the first official effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Mary Gillick. Style: uncrowned, facing right with a laurel wreath in her hair, youthful and classical. Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina F.D. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This image symbolized post-war optimism and a modern monarchy grounded in tradition, a lion statted guardant, standing with one paw raised, atop the Tudor crown. Inscription: Fid Def 1 shilling. Symbolism: represents England's royal authority and Protestant monarchy. 2. Scottish shilling, rampant lion. A lion rampant within, a double tressure flory counterflory, topped with the Scottish crown. Same inscription as English version. Symbolism: represents Scotland's sovereignty and proud heraldic tradition. Though both coins had the same value, they reflected distinct national pride, a subtle but powerful gesture in a kingdom of 4 nations. The 1959 1 shilling coin was a workhorse of the economy, used widely in everyday transactions. It bought a loaf of bread, a newspaper, a ride on a London bus. Its purchasing power was modest but essential. Minted in large quantities for general circulation. Exact figures are not publicly available by reverse type, but combined production was in the tens of millions. Used in all regions of the UK and some Commonwealth territories. Accepted until 1990, even after decimalisation, as a substitute for the new 5-pence coin introduced in 1968. Frequent wear seen on Queen's hairline and laurel detail lettering, especially Dei Gratia and Fid Def, lion and crown elements. Circulated coins typically show loss of luster, surface abrasions and bag marks, edge flattening. Many circulated coins from 1959 were melted down or simply discarded after decimalisation, making uncirculated specimens more desirable today. Though not rare in absolute terms, the 1959 1 shilling is valued by collectors, especially when found in uncirculated or high-grade conditions. Uncirculated, mint state characteristics. Full detail in hair, lion, crown, and lettering. Nowhere. On high points, original mint luster, often silver-white with soft toning, may exhibit proof-like quality in some well-preserved examples. Grading standards. British and International. EF. Extremely fine. Light signs of wear. Clear detail. AU. About uncirculated. Nearly no wear. Strong lustrum UNC. Uncirculated or mint state. 60+. No wear. Possible minor contact marks. MS 65+. Exceptional. Quality with nearly flawless surfaces values. As of 2025. Grade value. English or Scottish. Circulated. FVF 1, 2.50 extremely fine 3, 6 about uncirculated 7, 12 mint. State. MS 63, 65, 12, 25 GMMS, MS 66+, 30, 50+. Scottish reverse designs may carry a small premium in high grades due to lower survival rates. The 1959 1 shilling coin is not merely currency, it's a window into post-war British life. It reflects a nation rebuilding, a monarchy in its youth, a traditional currency on the verge of a modern transformation, its continued use for decades. After decimalisation is a testament to its durability and nostalgic importance. Today, it is a staple for. It was a coin you didn't notice until it was gone. And now, decades later, it becomes a relic of everyday history, cherished not for its metal but for its memory. In the humble 1959 1 shilling coin, we see a story not of kings and wars, but of families, bakers, shopkeepers, schoolchildren, a coin that jingled in pockets, drawers, and pay packets across Britain. It is a piece of the living past. A small round disc that speaks to an era of youth, monarchy, and subtle national pride. From tills to time capsules, the Elizabeth II shilling of 1959 is a coin that whispers of a Britain in transition. Stable, yet stirring, modest, yet momentous. A collector's checklist PDF for shillings from 1953-1967. A visual chart comparing the English and Scottish reverses. In 1953, a nation crowned a young queen. It was a moment of rebirth, hope, and continuity. And as the crown passed to Elizabeth II, so too did the currency. The coins of her reign began with a new portrait, a new style, and a new symbol of post-war Britain. This is the story of the first Elizabethan 1 shilling coin, struck in the year of her coronation. The year 1953 was a milestone in British history. After the loss and devastation of the Second World War and the passing of King George VI, in 1952, the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II represented a fresh chapter for Britain and the Commonwealth. Coronation Day, June 2, 1953, was celebrated across the UK and around the world. The Queen was young, charismatic, and determined to modernize the monarchy while respecting its traditions. Her image would soon be seen everywhere, especially on the nation's coinage. The 1953 1 shilling was the first of its kind under the new monarch, and it carried deep symbolism, not only in design but in meaning. Attribute details year 1953 monarch, Queen Elizabeth II denomination. 1 shilling, 12 pence. Currency system, pre-decimal composition, cupronickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, weight 5.65 grams, diameter 23.5 mm, edge milled, reeded. Mint Royal Mint, Tower Hill, London mintage, 30 million total, both reverse types. Unlike earlier coins which used sterling silver until 1946, the 1953 issue was made entirely of cupronickel, a durable and economical alloy adopted for all base coinage post-World War II. In 1953, the British government continued the tradition established in 1937, issuing 2 reverse designs for the 1 shilling coin, one to represent England, the other for Scotland. This was a nod to the dual identity of the kingdom and its evolving sense of national inclusiveness. Portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Mary Gillick. No crown on the Queen's head. Unlike later effigies, depicts the Queen wearing a laurel wreath in a classical Greco-Roman style inscription. Elizabeth, Tui de gratia Brit, Regina FD. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, of all the Britain's Queen, defender of the faith. This full Latin inscription was unique to the 1953 coronation coins only, making this the only year where Brit, appears, meaning of all the Britons. Crowned lion Staten Gardant, standing with one paw raised, on the Tudor crown inscription, 1 shilling above and date 1953 below. Symbolizes England as the senior nation in the UK. Lion rampant within a double tressure flory counterflory. Crowned inscription, same as English version, symbolizes Scotland's royal heraldry and sovereignty within the Union. Each design reflects deep heraldic tradition and national pride. They circulated interchangeably, but Scots often preferred the Scottish design for cultural reasons. All 1953 shillings were minted at the Royal Mint in Tower Hill, London, which had been operating since the 13th century. No mint marks were used. However, these coins were distributed widely, across the entire United Kingdom, throughout British colonies and Commonwealth territories, including parts of Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean, where British coinage remained. In use, featured in coronation sets sent to the Commonwealth as gifts or issued for collectors. The 1953 1 shilling was a circulating coin, but it also held special significance as part of the coronation coin set. It was one of the most visible and frequently used coins in the everyday economy. Used widely in shops, public transport, and post offices, continued to circulate after decimalisation in 1971, functioning as the equivalent of 5 new pence until it was finally demonetized in 1990. It was not a commemorative, but because it was the first coinage year of Elizabeth II, many were set aside by collector, most 1953. Shillings show moderate to heavy wear, flattened detail on the Queen's hair, and face wear on lion figures, crowns, and lettering dull surfaces from years of pocket and purse use. Fine, F. 1. Very fine, VF. 150. 2 coins that were never circulated, often from coronation sets, can be found in pristine condition. These are often the most desirable to collectors. Sharp detail on the Queen's hair, facial features, and laurel wreath. Bold relief on lions and crowns. Full mint luster, a satiny or brilliant sheen. No signs of handling or bag marks. Great English, reverse Scottish, reverse extremely fine. EF 3 co 5 4 6 about uncirculated. AU 6 8 8 10 uncirculated. MS 60 63 10 15 15 20 gem uncirculated. MS 65 plus 25 40 Vom 30 50 plus. Note: the Scottish reverse tends to be scarcer in high grades and slightly more sought after. The 1953 Elizabethan shilling represents the first coinage of the Second Elizabethan era, a farewell to empire, and the emergence of a modern commonwealth. The unique obverse legend, used for 1 year. Only a coin that links tradition and transformation. This is not just a shilling. It's a coronation keepsake, a time capsule of loyalty, optimism, and unity. For collectors, it is a type coin, essential to any British pre-decimal set, and one of the most symbolic numismatic tributes to Queen Elizabeth II's early reign. Minted in the year a new queen was crowned, the 1953 1 shilling is more than currency. It is history in your hand. It's the sound of a nation cheering, the touch of a common coin passed through generations, and the enduring mark of a monarch whose reign shaped the modern world. The last step, 1957, as Britain moved further from wartime austerity into the modern world. The image of a young queen graced every shilling spent in a fish market, a train station, or a corner shop. This is the story of the 1957 1 shilling coin, struck in the name of Elizabeth II. 1957 marked a significant turning point in post-war Britain. Prime Minister Harold Macmillan had just told the public, "You've never had it so good," pointing to rising wages, consumer goods, and living standards. At the heart of this change was a young monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. In just the 5th year of her reign, her portrait was by now a daily sight across the Commonwealth, especially on coins. The 1 shilling coin of 1957 was part of the pre-decimal currency system, which Britain had used for centuries. 1 shilling, 12 pence, d. 20 shillings, shaf 1 pound. So in 1957, the 1 shilling was a reliable and respected unit of currency. Strong, familiar, and steeped in heritage. Attribute details: denomination 1 shilling, year 1957, monarch Queen Elizabeth II, metal composition, cupronickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Weight, 565 grams, diameter 23.5 mathemej milled. Reeded, currency system pre-decimal, 1 shilling, wonks 12 old pence, mint Royal Mint, Tower Hill, London mintage estimate tens of millions, exact split by type unknown. Cupronickel replaced silver in British coinage from 1947 onward, due to economic pressures following WO2. By 1957, the public had fully accepted these new silver-colored coins. The 1957 shilling continued a unique British tradition, the use of 2 different reverse designs to represent the 2 largest nations in the United Kingdom, England and Scotland. Obverse. Front. The Queen's effigy, designed by Mary Gillick, features a young, uncrowned Queen Elizabeth II, wearing a laurel wreath classical in style, intended to project dignity, youth, and optimism. Inscription: Elizabeth II de Gracia Regina F.D. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This portrait was used from 1953 until the mid-1960s and is unique among monarch portraits for its realism and lack of crown. 1. English shilling, type 1. A lion statent guardant, standing forward facing on all fours, atop the Tudor crown inscription. Fid def 1 shilling, meaning Fide Defensor, Defender of the Faith, represents England, and links back to royal heraldry and Protestant tradition too. Scottish shilling, type 2. A lion rampant, rearing up, within a double tressure flory counterflory, topped with a Scottish crown. Same inscription and denomination represent Scotland, and evokes traditional Scottish royal symbolism. Both versions circulated together and were accepted equally across the UK and Commonwealth. All 1957 shillings were minted at the Royal Mint, located at Tower Hill in London, near the Tower of London, a site rich in numismatic history. Though minted in London, these coins, circulated across the United Kingdom, were recognized and used in several British overseas territories and Commonwealth countries, including parts of Africa, the Caribbean, Southeast Asia, and Oceania, were a symbol of the Queen's presence throughout the Commonwealth. The 1957 shilling was a circulating, Coin, used daily in the shops, markets, buses, and cinemas of post-war Britain. Bought a pint of milk or loaf of bread. Paid part of a train fare or cinema ticket. Used in pocket money, public phones, and slot machines. Circulation life. Circulated from 1957 until decimalisation in 1971. Continued as legal tender post-1971. Revalued as the 5-pence coin. Finally demonetized in 1990. In typical circulation, Queen's portrait loses hairline detail. Lion and crown lose sharpness and edges blur. Coin becomes dull or discolored due to pocket wear. Edges can be worn or flattened. Fine, F. 1 very fine, VF. $2. Most surviving 1957 shillings are found in circulated grades, with modest collector value unless in exceptional condition. These are coins that never entered circulation, usually from mint sets, bank hoards, private collectors storing coins, since issue full mint luster, often bright silver or soft satin sharp rim detail, full inscription clarity, no wear on high points, cheek, lion's face, crown, minimal or no bag mark, Great English, reverse Scottish, reverse extremely fine, EF 3, 5, 4, 6 about uncirculated, AU 6, 8, 8, 10 mint state, MS 60, 63, 10, 15 bar 12, 20 gem, mint state, MS 65 plus 25, 40 bar 35, 50 plus Scottish. Reverses tend to be slightly scarcer in high grades, often earning a premium due to their relative appeal among collectors. The 1957 shilling holds a solid position in British numismatics, particularly for type collectors assembling pre-decimal Elizabeth II sets, collectors of British royal iconography, historians interested in post-war economic recovery, fans of Mary Gillick's iconic effigy. It represents the 5th year of Queen Elizabeth II's coinage, a bridge between monarchy, money, and everyday British life. The legacy of a common coin. With uncommon endurance, it may not be rare, it may not be gold, but the 1957 shilling tells a story of Britain, of pride, and of the quiet power of tradition in the modern age. In the pocket of a coal miner, the drawer of a school teacher, or the till of a newsagent, the 1957 1-shilling coin served not only as currency, but as a companion to the lives of millions. And now, in the hands of collectors, it continues to tell its story. 1 lion, 1 queen, 1 shilling at a time.